Lately, we've seen a disturbing trend on Roblox, a platform originally designed to encourage creativity, learning, and fun. More and more, people are turning tragedies into games. And one of the most shocking examples of this? A game that recreates the real life Titan submarine disaster. Yes, someone actually made a game where you can relive a tragedy where five real people lost their lives in one of the most horrifying deep sea incidents in recent memory. Let that sink in. Someone looked at a heartbreaking event and thought, let's make that into a Roblox game. The backstory. Before we go deeper, let's talk about what the Titan tragedy really was. In June 2023, a deep-sea submersible called the Titan imploded during an expedition to visit the wreckage of the Titanic. 5 people were aboard, none of them survived. This wasn't some science fiction movie. This was real life. There were real families affected, real people grieving, real consequences. Now imagine being someone who knew one of the victims, a friend, a sibling, a child, and you log into Roblox and see a popular game where players casually reenact their final moments. It's not just disrespectful, it's disgusting. Why these games are a problem. The idea of turning real-world tragedy into entertainment is nothing new. But on a platform like Roblox, which is dominated by children and teens, it hits even harder. Most of the audience doesn't understand the context. They don't know the weight of what they're playing. They just see a game. But here's the thing. There's a difference between making a game about surviving a generic submarine accident and naming it after the Titan. There's a difference between exploring the ocean in a roleplay and literally recreating someone's death. The moment a creator uses a real tragedy for views, that's exploitation. Plain and simple. Why this particular game is differently disturbing. The Titan game is uniquely disturbing because of how tragic and heavy the event was. It wasn't something that happened decades ago that's been processed by history. It was less than 2 years ago. The families are still grieving. Investigations were still underway when this game started gaining traction. And yet, someone thought it would be fun to simulate the submarine imploding. With sound effects, with roleplay, with jokes. The worst part? It spreads. These games get shared on TikTok, turned into memes, and covered by YouTubers, sometimes unintentionally promoting them even more. It creates this twisted cycle where tragedy is gamified, joked about, and then forgotten. Except by the people who lived through it. The culture of shock content on Roblox. This is part of a larger issue, the shock content culture on Roblox. Creators are constantly trying to push the envelope to get attention, because attention equals views, and views equal money or clout. So what's the easiest way to get people to click? Make something that causes outrage. Make something that gets people talking, even if it's for all the wrong reasons. And that's what this Titan game is. It's not a tribute, it's not educational, it's clickbait, disguised as gameplay. But there's something deeply wrong with rewarding people for capitalizing on human suffering. We have to ask, where do we draw the line? And more importantly, why does Roblox allow these games to stay up for so long? Roblox's role and responsibility. Roblox is a massive platform with over 200 million monthly active users. And while it's true that most games are made by users, Roblox still holds responsibility for what's allowed to exist on its servers. The platform has moderation systems, content rules, community standards. But let's be honest, they fail a lot, especially with games like this. It shouldn't be this easy to publish something based on real-world taggedy. It shouldn't take community backlash or YouTube videos to get the game taken down. It should never be up in the first place. We're not saying Roblox should become a censorship machine. But there's a huge difference between free expression and exploiting tragedy for attention, and that difference needs to be enforced. What makes a game inappropriate? Some people might argue, well, what about war games or survival games? Those are based on death too. Sure. But the key difference is intent and respect. War games often take place in fictional or historical settings. Survival games use death as a challenge mechanic. They don't usually name real-life victims. They don't recreate actual tragedies down to the detail. The Titan game, and games like it, are specific, recent, and personal. They don't exist to honor. They exist to provoke, and that's what makes them unacceptable. The impact on young players. We also have to think about the younger players. They don't have the same awareness. They play because their friends are playing, because it's trending, because it's cool. They're being exposed to death and disaster, but without context, without empathy. Over time, this kind of exposure desensitizes people. It makes real pain feel like fiction. It turns tragedy into entertainment. And if kids grow up thinking it's okay to laugh at death, or to use someone's suffering as a punchline, we have a serious cultural problem. What we can do. So what can we do about it? First, don't play these games. Even if it's just curiosity, don't give them engagement. Every visit, every play, every upvote tells the algorithm, this game is popular. Second, report them. Use the in-game reporting tools. Flag the title, flag the description. It's not perfect, but if enough people report, Roblox eventually takes notice. Third, call it out. Use your platforms to spread awareness, but make sure you're not unintentionally promoting the game in the process. Speak about the issue, not the shock value. And finally, demand better moderation. Roblox is big enough, rich enough, and smart enough to improve their systems. They just need to care more. Closing thoughts. At the end of the day, games should be fun, creative, and inspiring. They can be serious too. Games can absolutely tackle real issues, but they should never exploit tragedy without consent, care, or purpose. The Titan game never should have existed, and the fact that it did, and that it got popular, says a lot about what's wrong with content culture today. We can't control what people create, but we can control how we react to it. Thanks for watching, and if you agree, like, subscribe, and consider sharing this video.